What's up YouTube? I'm Mariah Counts and this is my Undercover love story video submissions project.
From each other, now we're undercover.
Thank you everyone who submitted your Undercover love story. I know how hard it can be to recount times in your life that are a little difficult to reflect on, but I appreciate all 55 of your guys' submissions. I read all of them, and although not everyone gave me full permission to share their story, I want to share with you guys some memorable quotes from people's submissions and some full stories. Katie Herbranson's Undercover love story. It's about her being in an interracial relationship and having to deal with her parents. It was incredibly stressful, and about a year and a half into our relationship, I got pregnant, and I told him I would have to tell my parents and we would just have to live with the outcome. He agreed, and when we went to my family's house together, my mom was very accepting. She was brokenhearted that I felt I had to hide something from her for so long, especially something that made me so happy. My dad, however, was not as accepting. I will never forget him looking at me saying, "You have ruined your child's life. Can you imagine the hate they will have to endure by being mixed race?" This is a quote from Lindsay Blaylock's Undercover love story. It talks about how after her family did not accept her originally, she finally met up with her family later on and they finally accepted her. My family and I didn't talk for a year and a half because I was a lesbian and that wasn't right. I woke up one day and decided to reach out to my mom and see if she wanted to grab coffee and talk. We met at a local coffee shop and explained our feelings to each other. She finally accepted me for who I was and who I wanted to be. She cried to me and she said she will always love me no matter who I choose to be with, as long as I am happy. It took her a while to realize that. That was one of the best days of my life and changed my life completely. This is a quote from Cadence Jackson's Undercover love story, talking about a girl she was dating at the time whose family did not accept her sexuality. She tried to come out in high school and her parents would come into her room and cry, say that they loved her so much and that they didn't want her to go to hell. They sent her to counseling where she was yelled at to repent. This is a quote from Chelsea Sweet's Undercover love story, talking about what it's like to be queer in a religious upbringing. Candace and I were secretly together for a couple months as I didn't know how my friends/family would feel about me dating a girl, and the same with Candace. We both come from Catholic upbringings, and so we were both pretty nervous. Megan Samia's Undercover love story, talking about how she left a relationship with a man to pursue a relationship with a woman that she loved. I left my daughter's dad and took my shot with my best friend. Turns out she was in love with me too. We got married this past December and are about to move into our new home. I'm not afraid to tell anyone I'm a lesbian anymore or explain how we got blessed with our daughter, so I am no longer undercover. Krista's Undercover love story, talking about the pressures from society and your family when you're not yet out. When I came out last year, I did a lot of working through my past and accepting that I am gay. There are still so many in my world who don't know, and when every other question is, when are you going to find a boyfriend? Aren't you going to give your parents grandkids? Dating any boys? I still stumble over my words. Do I tell them? Do I mention the girl I'm talking to? Do I say nothing? I still look around and double check who might be able to hear me when I talk about someone I'm dating, because kept under wraps, I am safe. One day I will be able to share my love openly, but until then, it'll be undercover. This is a quote from Miranda Bohannon's Undercover love story, talking about her experience with being outed. She texted me a love letter and I wanted to keep it, so I printed it out. Well, I didn't realize I printed 2 copies. One was left on the printer. My mom found it the next day. She came in my room crying and cussing. She asked what she did wrong as a parent. How did she raise someone like me? I was then grounded and everything of mine was taken away. I continued to see her. I had to. I couldn't go a day without her. Joyce Van Kranen's Undercover love story. It talks about the internal conflict when you know how you feel, but other people are telling you that you shouldn't feel that way or that it must be wrong. I had my first boyfriend when I was 16 years old, because that's how I thought it should be. During the same time frame, I also had a best friend. When I was with her, I had butterflies in my stomach. These were feelings that I didn't have with my boyfriend. I hid my feelings, but that became more and more difficult. Anytime someone mentioned something about my best friend, I could feel myself blushing. It was so difficult to keep my feelings to myself, so I told my sister that I had feelings for another girl. My sister got angry and said that was impossible. I tried for years to put these feelings aside, but it was a constant fight in my head. I dreamed about my best friend at night while sleeping next to my boyfriend. Having these dreams felt so wrong. Years passed by, and I couldn't take the fight in my head anymore. I decided to follow my heart and stand up for myself and my sexuality. This quote is from another anonymous Undercover Love Story submission. It talks about serving in the US military as a queer woman during the times of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I proudly served for the US Army at the tail end of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. While I was honored to serve, the choice of enlisting forced me back into the closet. Coming home from deployment was the hardest. While everybody was embracing their loved ones and celebrating their homecoming, I silently watched and broke. It was so hurtful to know my soulmate, the one I fought so hard to protect and come home safely to, wasn't allowed to be there with me because I could face legal reprimand, including but not limited to loss of pay, loss of rank, and imprisonment for failing to follow UCMJ, should we embrace for too long or get swept up in emotions and kiss. When she and I were together, we were friends, or she was a visiting family member to whomever asked. And on the day of the repeal, she and I began the process of obtaining a marriage license. We were the first lesbian couple of my particular installation to gain permissions to become married and be the first LGBTQIA spouses on post. From that point on, when an NCO or officer would address her as your friend, I would swallow the learned fear, stare directly into their eyes, and announce, she's my wife.
I misjudged a book by its cover, and now I've discovered that you could be the perfect one for me. Can't you see us down that road, and here we go now.
Around sophomore year of college, I was really involved in this Christian campus ministry. And I met this girl there, and then we started dating. But we had to keep our relationship super secretive from the rest of the group, from leadership and from our families, because they weren't okay with people being gay. They thought it was a sin and something to be looked down upon. And I was just so tired of keeping our relationship a secret. And so I posted about us online, and some leadership found out, and they kicked my girlfriend off of leadership, all because of her sexuality. No one should ever be discriminated upon based on their sexuality.
Huge thank you to everybody who submitted for my Undercover Love Stories video project. I want all of you who indicated that you were not ready to share your story publicly to know that your story is always safe with me. If you guys haven't checked out my personal coming out / undercover love story, please check it out somewhere right here. I also have my official Undercover visualizer coming out this Sunday on Easter, so make sure you guys check that out. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button, smash that like button down there. And if you don't want to miss future content like this, please make sure you guys hit subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Stay cool and stay you.